The Chicago Bears have set top 30 visits as well as some other things, and it all points to one thing. The Bears are determined to at least find some competition, if not an outright upgrade, over Braxton Jones in this draft. We're going to talk about it all, plus the plan for Ryan Bates and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into it for today, y'all. And yeah, I knew y'all. Listen, shout out to Bobby and I'm sorry to Steve-O and Kev holding down the daily earlier today. Your boy had some people forget. I do have an actual daytime job. My job was actually busy today. I couldn't get the daily out at a reasonable time, so the boys held it down for me. So you guys got your content today, but I couldn't leave you guys without a dope beat to step to. So with that said, we got some news. We know what the Bears now kind of plan is for Ryan Bates. Seems like he is going to be here at least through training camp. And the Chicago Bears, and what they've set up with their top 30 visits so far, one thing is clear. The Chicago Bears do plan to upgrade or bring in at least competition for Braxton Jones at that starting left tackle position. The Bears set their initial first top 30 visit, and that top 30 visit definitely pointed in that direction. Josh Connerly had a top 30 visit with the Chicago Bears, one of the first ones that we've heard about it. We've since heard Ashton Jeanty, Will Campbell, other guys. We also heard today, which Kev and Steve-O held down and talked about, is that if Will Campbell is there at number 10, the Bears will draft him. That's from Brad Biggs. Take that for how you will with it. But Connerly, the fact that he's one of the first guys that the Bears are looking at, and the fact that he does not project to be going in the first round, to me, this tells me that if Will Campbell is there at number 10, the Bears are more than likely going to take him, which is a good, solid pick there for them, no doubt. But the Bears still have their mind on a tackle, and Connerly may not outwardly. We'll see what happens if he's able to take that starting position from Braxton Jones. But with the 39th or the 41st pick, it does seem like they're going to be able to land somebody like Connerly. So it makes sense that if the Bears are focused on tackle, they have their tackles in Will Campbell and reportedly Armand Van Bow, which I've been telling you guys about, on their board. If for some reason they go a different route, whether it's Jeanty, Tyler Warren, or anybody else with number 10, they're still focused on bringing in one of the better tackles in this draft. So, and I like Connerly here. I think that he makes a whole lot of sense for the Chicago Bears, depending on what they do at other positions, right? Now, the thing here is with this one is that if you do draft Connerly, I would say that Braxton's probably still going to start in 2025 with the idea of using this year of evaluation, coaching, and development to prepare Connerly to maybe take over that role in the future. But the Bears are focused on that left tackle position, right? And I don't think that should be any surprise for anyone, right? There have been some people who are higher on Braxton Jones, lower on Braxton Jones, but I think all things said, right, is that Braxton deserves an opportunity under this new coaching staff with new development and with an improved offensive line to see what he can bring. Now, if you do bring in somebody who can take that starting position away from him, so be it. Braxton is still going to play swing tackle at that point, where he's going to probably still get a lot of snaps to be able to see what he can bring with the Bears and maybe earn a long-term spot. But with that said, you got Kieran Amagaje as well, who we don't know exactly how the Bears view. If you bring in a guy like Josh Connerly, you have a young crop there that makes some sense as well, right? And so we'll see what the future does hold, man. Here's what I'll say, right? I'll say this. The Chicago Bears would be remiss in this draft not to go out and get a tackle. I think everybody agrees with that. No matter how you view some of the tackles in this draft or how you view Braxton, when you look at how the Bears, and I talked a little bit about this on Bleacher Report the other day, right? When you look at the offensive line, we've definitely upgraded the starters, right? You got Braxton, you got Tooney, you got Drew Dahman, you got Jonah Jackson, you got Darnell Wright. That, as penciled in right now, is an improved offensive line than what we had last year. But it starts getting a little shaky with the depth. You got Kieran Amagaje maybe backing up Braxton. Theo Benedict's going to, who had an injury, he's going to try to make a name for himself this year. You got Bill Murray. You got Doug Kramer. You got Ryan Bates, who we'll talk about here in a second. That's an inexperience, right? And that's fine to have some inexperience with your depth pieces, but some of these guys don't really have kind of the upside of some of the other things, right? So I think that's what as well that you're looking at when it comes down to it. But I think overall, like it just comes down to this, right? Upgrade the tackle is an assurance, right? You want to do that. You want to fill out the depth chart. And this is a draft that at minimum, you can do that. At most, you can get a new starter in here, right? Now, I have my doubts on Will Campbell falling to the Bears or whatnot. You guys know my favorite offensive lineman in this draft at number 10 for the Bears is Armand Minbao, who I initially got some criticism for, and then people started seeing his draft combine and his measurables. They're like, hey, maybe Haize was on to something, right? But everything that we're hearing is all kind of pointing back towards this, is that the Chicago Bears are looking at tackle. And Tyree said here, we don't need a tackle until the second round because Kieran may be the guy to replace Braxton. Yeah, but there's no guarantees of that. So you can't say that for sure. And we don't even know if Kieran's going to be a tackle long term. There's a chance that Kieran's going to be guard long term, right? We don't know because he is so raw. And these prospects in the first and the second round are way more polished. Kieran was a long-term play, right? Kieran may not be, even if he does develop into a starter, he may not be a starter until year 3 or 4. So you cannot, if the talent is there in round 1, there's nothing that we've seen from Kieran that says Minbao, even Josh Simmons, if healthy, is worth passing up for Kieran Amagaje. I'm sorry, I just don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. And we'll see what happens there, but I don't agree with that. So I think overall, like when you look at it, period, is that there's nobody depth-wise on her, even Braxton, that if you find yourself, if there's a starting level tackle on the draft board and you pick where you pick at, there's nobody on this roster that has at left tackle that says, let's pass up that guy because we're good here. There's just nothing that you've seen there yet, right? And so we'll see. Now, again, I'm not saying that the Bears necessarily have to go tackle in the first round either. I think that they freed themselves up to go a lot, right? Delon says Simmons would be my choice, even if he's coming off an injury. Here's the thing, right? I think that Simmons, if he goes through this draft process and shines like we all know that he can, there's no way in hell he's going lower than 12. There's no way in hell he's going lower than 12. The only reason he's slated to go more towards the middle of the first round is because of the injury. There's just no doubt about that. And while he's still slated by a lot of mocks, best believe after some of these private workouts, these top 30 visits go on, but watch what I'm telling you. There's a chance. I'm not saying for sure because he may not be healthy. The medicals could very well scare some teams off from drafting him earlier, right? But Josh Simmons is a hell of a talent. It's just that health that you have the question about. So, thank you for the super chat, Gerald. We appreciate you. Says depth pieces should not be drafted. Ferd? What? Ferd? What? Not first, but Ferd. What are you talking about? Like, I know it's a typo. I'm just having fun with you. But did you mean third? Did you mean first? I don't know which way you were going with that, my brother. You had a Shea level typo there. Agree. I want Kelvin Blanks. I like Kelvin a lot. If you guys look at my initial scouting, not my draft, my mock draft, but my scouting that I did, like I had him initially high up there as well. So it says there's no way the Bears are leaking their top 10 pick to the beat writers 5 weeks before the draft. Biggs is a stooge. It's not about the Bears leaking it. Like I think you guys have a misunderstanding. So when you hear things from writers, it's not them saying, "Hey, the Bears are going to," and say, "Hey, Brad, you know who we're going to draft? You know who we're going to draft at number 10? We're taking Will Campbell. We're taking Will Campbell. That's who we're taking." That's not what happens here, right? But it is things that people that are connected to the team hear things. Now, like I said, with everything, you take everything that you hear from any writer. I don't give a damn if Jesus himself came down to earth and said, hey, I know who the Bears taking. Take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt. But it's not the way that you try to first round. Oh, who abbreviates it that way, SP? Who abbreviates it that way? Who does that? This is Braxton's contract year. If he was smart, Braxton doesn't want to be the weak link on a much improved O-line. Yeah, I mean, listen, but yeah, but no player goes in thinking, "Hey, I'm the weak link here, motherfucker." Like nobody thinks that, right? I'm sure Braxton thinks that in a lot of ways he was probably the best offensive lineman on the left. You know what? You know what's freaky? Have y'all ever gotten new glasses and like it's almost like you're seeing too clear? Like my prescription changed a little bit, and now I swear to God, it feels like I'm seeing too much. It's too much. I'm seeing too much is what's happening. Jesus, man. That just hurt my eyes. But we'll see, right? But Braxton should come in confident. And hopefully he's gonna be focused and he's gonna be able to bring it in. Round one. Okay, that's cool. I get what you're saying there. Who said take a depth piece in the first round, though? Anybody that you take in the first round is not going to be a depth piece. Anybody, Mimbow, if it's Kelvin Banks, if it is Josh Simmons, those guys are coming in and starting day one. Best believe, unless something goes terribly left, they're starting day one. But so that's what you're looking at, man. Top 4 picks need to be left tackle, DN, right, running back, and defensive tackle. Listen, I get what you're saying there, but I disagree. Like the Bears have put themselves where there's nothing you can say needs to be. The Bears could go linebacker in the first 4 picks, and it can make some sense. The Bears could go cornerback, and it could make some sense. The Bears could go safety in the first 4 picks. It could make some sense, right? But I think overall, like that's what the Bears have done that's really special here is they've set themselves up to where any move, not any move, but most directions that they can go all make sense in their own ways, right? It's determined by the talent that's on the board, your draft position, and what you feel you can get later on in the draft. That's really what it's about. Tiffy Waynard looks like a little Wayne in a wig. Whoa. Y'all know Tevin Jenkins signed with the Browns. Braxton is the last one left. Improvement or replacement time. Yeah, Tevin signed with the Browns. I hope that I hope that Tevin Jenkins can find his career and get it to go. I think I really hope that Tevin Jenkins can right the ship there. I like Tevin, man. I really do like Tevin Jenkins. I think Tevin Jenkins, when he is healthy, he's a stud. He's a stud. The question is how long is he going to be healthy? That's the question, right? But we don't know that, man. We don't know what the future is going to hold there. But I hope Tevin can get it together, man. I like Tevin Jenkins. And we'll just see what's going to happen there. But I don't think they've released any contract details on that yet. I don't think they have yet. But shout out to Tevin for getting them checks. I lost my train of thought there for a second. Adult ADHD is a motherfucker. That's all I can say. Adult ADHD is a son of a bitch. The next one that we got to talk about is Ryan Bates, right? So it seems like the Bears have a plan for Ryan Bates and what they want to do for him, and it seems like the coaching staff as well as Ben Johnson, they want to bring him in here. So this one does come from the Chicago Tribune as well. They say this. The impression I get is the Bears, at minimum, want to see Bates in a mix as reserve this summer. He earned a $500,000 roster bonus on the third day of the league year. And if the team was looking to create a little cap savings on some cash, it would have released him before that. He has a $3.4 million base salary and $100,000 in workout bonus and a $500,000 roster bonus. Doesn't lock down a spot for Bates, but it is evidence the team wants to have him in the pool of options. So anybody asking questions about what the future of Ryan Bates is, he's going to be on the Bears roster at least through training camp, right? And I think that's smart, right? Now, if they were going to release him, then they would have done so probably before that salary cap hit came in, right? And so with Bates here, it adds some veteranship, right? Like we went over the depth, right? Bill Murray, young, inexperienced player. Karen Amagaje, young, inexperienced player. Doug Kramer, young, inexperienced player. You need Ryan Bates is the one veteran right now that we have at depth, right? So it makes sense that you want to bring Ryan Bates back. Did he have the greatest season with the Chicago Bears last year? No. Did he live up to what some people thought he was going to do? No, right? But you still need veterans around. And the last thing that I think you want to do is rely entirely coming into training camp on young depth, right? Now, if you make it through training camp and you feel confident about those guys, then you may feel a little bit safer in releasing some of that, right? But I think overall is that having some veteran depth, at least through training camp, so you know that you're going in with a veteran there that's going to be that depth piece, I think that makes a lot of sense for the Bears. So we'll see what the future holds for Ryan Bates. I think it's going to be a big question, but, we'll see what happens. SP says Bates is, and I agree, Bates is literally the definition of a decent backup. And I don't mean that as like a bad thing. You need quality backups in this league. I think that's been proven, right? And he's bringing that ability to be that consistent backup for the Bears team. So, that's what you got there. Top 3 rounds, I would love to see us get Starks, Landon, Jackson, Jackson Conley. Put some commas in there, my boy. Fuck up them commas, my guy. Like, let's get it together. Starks, Landon, Jackson Conley, or Cam Skatable. I mean, listen, I'm not mad at any of those guys. Like I said, the thing that we're sitting in is that the Bears have really put themselves in a position to do whatever they feel makes the most sense to them, right? And we'll see what happens there. If we draft a left tackle in the first round, he won't be starting. He will be competing with Braxton, or the position you draft only starters in the first round. No, if you draft somebody, there's nobody that you draft that's not coming in that's better than Braxton. I'm sorry. So no, if we draft a left tackle, yeah, he will be starting. He will be starting. Now, of course, there's going to be but he will be starting. I usually post dumb comments. I never expected you to agree with me. I mean, listen, Bates as a decent backup is that's facts. He's a decent backup. He's a decent backup. Kudos to Poles. People bash him for not addressing the O-line, but we forget that there was no one available to acquire last season. I disagree with that. We saw other teams address linemen. He just wasn't aggressive about it. And listen, it ended up working out, right? He didn't attach any long-term money, which is the thing. Like, it would have been a little, like, it sucked going through another season like that. He could have been more aggressive about the trade market or things like that. But listen, he didn't attach any future assets. He did trade them this year, but you end up getting guys in here and you didn't pigeonhole yourself into an offensive line knowing you were probably. And listen, I think a lot of that too was, I think they pretty much, they knew Matt Eberflus was a lame duck coach. Like, I think that they hoped that Matt Eberflus was going to step up. I'm sure that they did, but I think that there was a lot of people in that building that probably was like, dead man walking. So, Haize on that rock him the God bars. That's okay. To be honest, I believe whoever we draft in the first 3 rounds got to be a hit. Listen, I agree with you. Definitely agree with you there. We did great with the O-line, so why not finish with drafting the left tackle? Great point. Go watch Banks pulling and nailing guys. Whoa, I don't want to watch nobody nail guys. Like, that's your, I mean, if that's your kink, TJ, that's your kink. No judgment, right? We accept any and everybody here. We love you. But I don't want to watch that though. I don't want to watch Banks Jr. nailing guys. That's not something that I want to see personally. But hey, to each their own. Go out there and do your thing, my boy. I like Mike Green than Connolly in the second round. You sure about the Haize? Because Braxton isn't disciplined enough for me. He had too many mistakes 2 years ago with false starts and holding. In this year, he showed flashes, but not enough. What am I sure of? What? I'm the one that's saying they're bringing in somebody to replace Braxton. Did you hear what I actually said, Chris Evans? Like, I know that you're Superman. I mean, not Superman, Captain America, Chris Evans. But did you hear me correctly in what I said there, my boy? Hear me correctly in what I said there. Connolly faced Abdul Carter and didn't allow pressure and played well against him. It's been a while. Haize, what's going on? You and the crew turned me into Bears fans now. Love the content. Keep it up. Though I appreciate you, Simba. Appreciate you, brother. Haize, do you think that Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles could have had an agreement last year for the head coaching? No, no, because that got caught, that would have been bad. How you gonna tell me to quit playing and you the one that said go watch somebody nail guys? How am I the one that's playing? I mean, I am playing. Well, come on, man. But that's just the updates that I wanted to bring, man. The Bears have some really good top 30 visits scheduled as well. But not all top 30 visits necessarily are going to be the people that the Bears go. But we'll see. We'll see. The Bears, they're setting themselves up really good, though. I think they're setting themselves up really good overall. And we'll just see what continues to happen here, man. But all right, I love you guys, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. I appreciate you so much. Oh, wait. Haize, I did hear you said it decent enough for. Oh, yeah, no, he's a decent enough for a backup, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, he's like, you got to keep in mind, nobody's a perfect player. Like Braxton is more than decent. Like as a depth piece, as a swing tackle, Braxton would do great. He'll do great. It is what it is. But all right, man, I love you guys, man. Make sure you guys are staying in tune with this. You can follow us at Shy Bear Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, 242-9336. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. Love you guys. Go Bears. Bear down, y'all. Go Bears. Go Bears is corny. Bear down, y'all. Peace.